Okay, good morning. Good morning. I'll be teaching surface facility for oil and gas. This is 12-week course, and each week classes will be around 2.5 to 3 hours. And course content basically the surface productions operation, separator, emulsion, heater treater, water treatment, gas separation, and equipment and fluid flow related aspects. And whoever will be registering the course, they will be doing the assignment, and there will be final exam, and that will be final exam will be most probably proctor exam, and some exam centers will be there within India and outside India also. The student can register, they can appear for exam, they can get certification. Those who are not willing to get certificate, so they can watch YouTube video, most probably it will be available freely for everyone. And for this course, I'll be following the book Surface Production Operations, and K. Arnold and Stewart, Morris Stewart book. This book, I think, is very common book for surface productions operations. So students who are willing to attend this course, or who are willing to learn this course, they can follow the books. And if any other course material required, I'll give you, or I'll tell during that lecture, I'll tell the name of the book or content where you can find relevant course material. Fossil fuel. So fossil fuel, where the fossil fuel word coming? Fossil fuel means like animals or trees or plants or phytoplankton, zooplankton, everything got deposited, and because of temperature and pressure, it got converted into fuel. So that can be coal or hydrocarbon, hydrocarbon such as petroleum, coal also hydrocarbon. So petroleum. So petroleum, whatever petrol you are filling in your car or bike, so it is coming from petroleum. So directly from Earth's surface, whatever fluid you are getting, that is called petroleum, and you are not filling that same fuel in your car or bike. Before that, before filling into car, there will be several processes. You have to drill Earth's surface. Then what you have to, separate, because whenever you drill, you get oil, water, sand, you get some other things such as H2S, hydrogen sulfide. These are you are getting, but you do not get money from that. You have to remove, otherwise there will be some issue when you are transporting or you are using the fuel. Then this one you have to separate in surface production systems. So that is actually my course content. I will explain later what is this separation process and how to do it. And when you separate, you get water, sand, oil, gas. Okay, gas also will be there. So gas also there. So you separate everything, and oil will go to refineries. So one refinery, for example, Jamnagar refinery is there, and the Reliance refinery is there. Many companies are there who has set up refineries in India and abroad also. So from that refinery, you get diesel, petrol, you get naphtha, you get kerosene, you get many other component actually. So then process is that fossil fuel you are getting from Earth's surface, and maybe coal or petroleum. So coal I am not discussing. Okay, so we are discussing petroleum because this course is relevant to separator. So separator is basically coming petroleum to separator actually, and petroleum contain different components such as oil, water, gas, sand. Then you separate. After separation, you transport to your refinery. In refinery, you do fractional distillation, and you separate diesel, petrol, kerosene, and many other component. Okay. So formation of petroleum. So formation of petroleum, how did it form? Large quantity of dead organism deposited, mostly zooplankton or algae, buried underneath the sedimentary rock and subjected to both prolonged heat and pressure. So because of this chemical changes happened, and you got petroleum. And when you are extracting, you have whole process drilling to refineries, and you are using for your day to day life, car, bus, truck, train, wherever you are using fuel, liquid fuel. So, you are getting that fuel from actually petroleum. These days there are alternative options are coming, for example bio or biofuel. So, biofuel is not coming from your petroleum. So, biofuel actually small some conversion you are making from plants that you are mixing with petroleum fluid, and you are trying to make you are trying to reduce dependency on petroleum, because petroleum in India, if you see petroleum, we are importing 82% petroleum from other countries. Okay, because of this huge amount of import, you are giving lots of money to other countries. So, government is trying to replace petroleum as much as possible using your biofuel. So, that is also in basic stage. So, still our dependency will be there on petroleum. So, you have to study it. A little bit historical prospect. Historical prospect, around 4300 years ago, some report are there. So, 4300 years ago, petroleum Sumerians used. 2000 years ago, Chinese used. In some Arabian text also, petroleum is referred. Okay. So, first crude oil in India, first crude oil in Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, USA, 1869 they found. So, from there things moved on, and if you see Middle East and other countries also, they got after 1950s the crude oil. In India also, in India it came 1889. Okay. Natural gas industry in India, natural gas, and 1960s. Natural gas industry in India started 1960s. India is importing 80%, about 80% crude oil import by India. Okay, this is a very important term. 80% about you are importing. So, huge amount of money you are giving to other country. We are among the top consumers of petroleum, oil and gas, but our production is very low. So, that is why we are giving huge money. Okay, that is why government is trying to replace petroleum fluid or oil and gas from other sources. For example, renewable energy, solar, they are trying to put wind energy, they are trying to get biodiesel, they are trying to get other type of energy systems like nuclear, there may be small hydro or maybe geothermal energy they are trying to put, but still altogether still not sufficient to replace the petroleum. So, our dependency on petroleum will continue in next several years. Okay. Petroleum extraction, exploration to customer. So, petroleum, when you are extracting, so first you explore, then drill a well bore, once drilling is done, then you produce, make a hole. Drilling means make a hole. Okay. When you are making a hole, fluid will be moving up because of reservoir pressure. You got fluid on the surface, then use some separator system. That separator system will separate all the fluid, I already told. Then you send to your refineries. Refinery will be sending to Indian oil, say Indian gas you are getting at your home, or you are getting Bharat Petroleum. The petrol pumps are there nearby your hometown. So, those are not coming directly from ONGC. Okay, ONGC is producing from, they have drilling system, production system, they will be selling to some refinery. So, refinery will be selling to your petrol pumps. Okay. So, in that way things are working. Okay. So, like each slide I am transitioning, so that time they will cut actually. Okay. They should cut actually. Okay. Okay. So, composition by weight, it will be having alkane 30% about, naphthalene it will be 49% around, aromatics will be 15% about around, asphaltene it will be around 6%. Okay. So, this is approximate ratio. it can vary also. This is just some idea, so that you can get, okay, this much of about this much it will be in your mind. Okay, and carbon percentage, if you see, it will be around 83 to 85%. Huge amount of carbon will be there. Okay, hydrogen will be there 8 to 10 to 15%. 10 to 15%. Nitrogen will be there 0.1 to 2%. Oxygen will be there 0.05 to 1.5%. S sulfur, this is your enemy actually, hydrogen sulfur or sulfur dioxide. Okay, this will create corrosive gas. S plus H2 plus water, it will create actually acidic gas. So acidic gas means it will be corroding everything, it will be dangerous. So if sulfur content is higher, so you have to first handle the sulfur, then you can do other operations, otherwise all metallic part will be corroded easily. Okay. So sulfur will be like 0.05 to 6%. So very high amount also possible. So small amount maybe they can handle easily, but high amount you have to treat them separately. And crude oil gravity. So these are small simple statistics you should remember. Okay. Gravity will be 26 to 12 degree API. API means American Petroleum Institute. So there are formula we will discuss later. So normally we do not specify gravity in terms of whatever you learn in your school books, like kg per meter cube something. So here we specify in terms of API gravity. So later we will discuss the formula, how to convert one unit to another unit. And whenever you are studying petroleum engineering any subject, you should remember the field units. What the people uses the units in field, you have to remember. For example, they do not use meter cube per second, they will be using barrel. And barrel, they will not say likely 5 barrel per day, they will say BBL or BOPD, BWPD. So those terms we will explain later, what are the different terms. Okay. So if you are from petroleum background or non-petroleum background, does not matter, you should remember this field unit. If you are going to work in a field, and if someone is saying BOPD or BPD or BWPD, so you should not say I do not know these terms. Okay, you are engineer, so you should be familiar with the term GPM, gallon per minute. You have to familiar with your temperature, Rankine temperature, your Fahrenheit temperature. Normally centigrade they do not use, they will be using Fahrenheit temperature, they will be using feet, inch instead of meter. So in India normally we are familiar with SI unit, and I feel also myself, I feel very much comfortable. I can tell one story. I was working in the UK, Scotland, one company called Zilip Limited. So there what data I got data in field unit, and they asked me to do some calculation. So no, when I was doing calculation, what I did, I prepared one Excel sheet. Whatever data I will get, I will put there in Excel sheet 1. Excel sheet will be conversion table. Okay, if I get gallon, it will create meter cube per second. Then third sheet will be my actual calculation, volume flow rate, this flow rate, because I am very much comfortable with SI unit. Okay, then whenever I will be delivering that final result to the customer, customer will not understand my centigrade, kg, meter cube. So I will have another conversion table. So using that conversion table, actually I will give them data in field unit. So I will get data in field unit, I will do all calculation using my SI unit, then I will give them in field unit. Because whenever if I use only field unit for calculation, then I have to remember all these constants, variables, so many terms will be, extra terms will be coming, so you cannot remember. Okay, but SI unit, Newton, meter, kg, conversion is very easy, and in India we are very much comfortable with that. But if you are going for field unit conversion, then extra constant term you have to remember. So to avoid that, I prepared that sheet. Okay, get this gallon, it will convert to meter cube per second. So I will have that sheet prepared, and final sheet also will be there. So after conversion, pipe flow rate, friction rate, pump diameter, flow rate, I will give in GPM, I will give in feet. Okay, I will give in Fahrenheit. So that way I make my life easier during my work in the field. Okay, work in the field means I was working for one oil services company. I was trying to design artificial lifting systems. Okay, so I was getting data from different US based companies, Middle East based companies, and other companies. So those company engineers, they will be telling their terms in terms of barrel, feet, gallon, and initially I was feeling difficulty because I was not familiar with those terms. Because in India, again, we are familiar with meter, kg, second anyway, it's common. So I had to familiarize myself with the new terms so that I should not say 10 feet means, then later I prepared my mind that 10 feet means divided by 3, approximately 3 meter, done. 10,000 feet means around 3 kilometer, okay. Okay, that way I was trying to remember. Okay, just I was trying to making my own thumb rule, because I can remember in kilometer meter, not in terms of feet. So whenever I will get data in feet, 10,000 feet, 5,000 feet, so quickly my mind will work, okay, divide by 3 and approximately this. Okay, 10,000 divided by 3 is around 3 kilometer, but not exactly, but I'll, okay, by thumb rule I can use, okay, about 3 kilometer means this is the rule. Okay, so you also as a student, you can, if you are familiar with field unit and your mind is working on that, this is fine. Otherwise if you think you want to convert and you do calculation and you deliver to your customer or your company bosses or your client in field unit, that is also fine. I think ONGC they use this SI unit, I think both unit they are using, but US based company normally they will be using field unit. You should remember this. Okay, regarding the chemistry of petroleum, oil and gas, when you are talking about carbon and hydrogen must, right? That's why we say hydrocarbon. Hydrogen and carbon is there, that's why we say hydrocarbon, or HC we see in short form many times. Okay. And whenever you are saying hydrocarbon, that means it may have C5 to C40, this much of carbon possible. Some hydrocarbon or some fluid oil or gas will have C5, very low amount of carbon. In some cases very large number, long chain hydrocarbon will be there. So in C40, this is wax zone. Okay, C5 is low light oil, oil may be there, and like methane, if you say carbon only 1, so in that case your carbon actually 1. Okay, so normally it will be within this range. And petrol, your common fuel when you are driving bike, CN H small n is better, 2N plus 2. So this will be approximate formula for petrol. So normally the petroleum fluid will be mixture of many chemicals, not single chemical. Okay, this will be having long chain hydrocarbon, short chain hydrocarbon. Short chain hydrocarbon means small hydrocarbon, molecular weight will be lower, so there will be more volatile gas like methane, C only one, CH4, only one carbon is there. But if you go to wax, long chain hydrocarbon, many carbon bonding will be there, C, many bonding will be there. Okay, so so when long chain is there, so it cannot move easily. If you increase temperature, the one chain another chain will be tangled up. So because of this one, volatility will be reduced. Okay, so that wax zone will be there, or lubricating oil, there will be a long chain hydrocarbon. That short chain hydrocarbon, petrol can be very short chain hydrocarbon, gas will be very further lower hydrocarbon, molecular weight is very low. So you give small amount of heat, so that will be trying to move away from your vessel or pot. Okay, okay, reservoir. Reservoir means where your oil or gas is there. Okay, so whenever you are getting oil and gas, that means 3 conditions are maintained there. One is source rock must be there, one will be porosity must be there. Source rock means your hydrocarbon is there. Okay, you have oil, gas, okay, maybe water also will be there. Hydrocarbon is there in small pockets, but if pockets are not connected, you are not in production. So porosity is there, that means the pockets will be connected, and you make a hole, connected pockets will be delivering fluid, and you are becoming economical. And to prevent oil from escaping to the surface, one rock is required called cap rock. Okay, so otherwise cap rock is not there, then all gas and oil will go away. Okay. So these 3 conditions must be maintained if you want to get one reservoir. Okay, consumption. Okay, so if you see just simple consumption pattern of different countries. So first the developed country, most developed country, you can say USA. USA is the most oil and gas, although they have also very huge amount of oil and gas, but their consumption is very huge. Many, I think all family will have one car, like Saudi Arabia and USA, they will have, each family will have. Europe, they have done lots of public transport system, so they also depend on a car, but they have like cycling road, and they use public transport system. I was in South Korea, so South Korean people, government will say like use more public transport. okay, although they can afford. Okay. But India is mixed economy and developing, so we cannot afford that much of all public transport or all car for everyone. Okay. So we have to depend on everything. And next consumer is China. Okay, this depends on every year's data. So normally this will be common trend. Then Japan also using very high amount of oil and gas. Okay, India, you see, KSA, they are having huge amount of oil, but they are using also. Every family will have very 1 or 2 cars minimum actually. Okay, and if you see production side, production, Russia, this is these days they are also producing and sending to India. KSA is there, a high amount of production. Iraq, then Iran, then China. Okay, so KSA, USA also there. Okay, this may or may not be in sequence, but these are top countries. Okay, you see this Japan is using very high amount, but Japan is not having any production actually. Okay, South Korea, I don't know whether they are having production, but they are using very high amount. Okay, China, USA, they are having production, but they are consumer also. But in India case, we are consuming more. We are not in top production list. Okay, that is our problem. If we can reduce dependency on petroleum, then our economy no one can touch actually. Okay, because huge amount of money we are giving to other countries. And normally because of strategic reason, one country will not buy all oil and gas from only one country. Let's say India will be buying from KSA, from Russia, from USA, from different countries. So that like if any political disturbance is there in one country, so they can get other source of oil. Okay. So although they will be having strategic oil, but strategic oil will be supplying maybe 2-3 months maximum. But for strategic reason, one country will be importing oil and gas from different countries. Okay, some from Iran, some from Russia, some from USA, some from Saudi Arabia. Okay, that way they will make. Okay. Okay, Indian scenario, I said like in India, the Digboy Assam, there they first time got oil and gas, but actual recovery started in 1960s and later. Okay, Bombay High started 1974 I think. Okay, Bombay High is there. Around 14% of India's oil it is supplying. Okay, although India is having several sources, several reservoir, but Bombay High is giving still more oil. So initially they drilled vertical wellbore, later they went for multilateral and horizontal wellbore also. India imports about again 80%, about 80% oil and gas from other country, and our importing countries are basically Iraq, KSA, UAE, USA, Russia. Okay, this term just for example you should remember, because Iraq, KSA, UAE, USA, Russia. Okay, Russia and US tradition actually. Previously it was there, but now increased. Peak oil. Peak oil is actually many scientists they are believing that already we have reached peak oil. Peak is the maximum production we have done. There are consumption more, but we are not getting everyday new reservoir or new production we are not getting. So people are thinking that peak oil we have reached and it is gradually it is declining. Okay, already we reached, or maybe we are reaching soon that peak.